Are you new to card making? Well, I'm going to be sharing some basics that will help you get started. Hey everyone, it's Joy here and welcome to my channel. Let's start off with our card bases. The standard card base size is an A2 size, which measures 5.5 by 4.25. I am starting with a piece of 8.5 by 11 cardstock piece. And I like a thicker cardstock for my card base. I have it in my paper trimmer and I have it lined up on the left side there at 5.5, and I'm going to cut that in half. Now I have two card bases and I will show you where we're going to score those in just a minute. I'm going to take a different paper trimmer and another piece of 8.5 by 11 cardstock. I'm getting a different paper trimmer because this one is bigger, because now we're going to make a top folding A2 size card base. So it still measures 5.5 by 4.25. So I have it in my trimmer here and I am cutting it at the 4.25. So now we have it long ways, and I'm going to show you how we are going to score that. So again, both of these are A2 size card bases. This is going to be a side folding. So now I'm going to score this at the 4.25. And then I can fold this over, and now we have a side folding A2 size card base. So you can open it. You can also do top folding if you want to turn it the other way. Now let's do the top folding one where we cut it at 4.25. Now we're going to score it at 5.5. And then I'm going to fold that over, and now we have a top folding A2 size card base. So again, A2 size measures 4.25 by 5.5. Super easy to make your own card bases, but that is the standard A2 size and they fit in an A2 size envelope. Now for my next one is a 5 by 7 card. So I have trimmed it 10 inches this long way by 7 inches this way. So we're going to put it in the long way, and I'm going to score this at 5 inches. So then we can fold this in half, and now we have a 5 by 7 card. So this is going to give you tons of real estate. It is definitely a bigger card and you can put a lot of things. So now we have the 5 by 7. Super easy. Now we're going to get into the slimline cards. I am going to start with the regular slimline that measures 8.5 by 3.5. So I have 8.5 here by 7. We're going to put it in and score it at 3.5. And then that is going to give us our 8.5 by 3.5 slimline card. And there are slimline envelopes as well. So I'm just going to fold that on the score line. And this way you can do it side folding or top folding. So 3.5 by 8.5. So there's the side fold and there is the top fold. The top fold's kind of my favorite for slimline. Now let's do a mini slimline, which measures 6.5 by 3.5. So we've cut it 7 by 6.5. So we're going to put it in the 7 and score it at 3.5. So this is a mini slimline that is 6.5 by 3.5. So it's the same width as a regular slimline, but it's shorter. And again, we scored it at the 3.5. So 3.5 by 6.5. And let's look at those compared to that slimline. So now we have all of our bases. We have A2, 5 by 7, slimline, and mini slimline. Okay, so let's get into our adhesive. So there are adhesive rollers. You have permanent, you have semi-permanent. I use obviously the permanent, and it just rolls onto your paper. You'll see that it's a little bit glossy, so you can see that tape runner. There's also dot runners. They all work the same, and you can put this behind really anything. When I am adhering to something like glitter or texture paste or something like that, I am going to use a liquid glue. So this is the Artis liquid glue from scrapbook.com. It's really good. I also love Honey Bee Stamps, Lawn Fawn. I heard that Gina K has really good liquid glue. I've not ever used it, but this is great to adhere to glitter papers. Like I said, stuff that has texture, this will hold really nicely, but you can put it behind anything that you want. I don't usually use liquid glue behind my card bases that I attach, or my card panels that I attach to my card bases. I usually use tape runner for that. But this is good for all those other things like sequins, just all kinds of things. Then you have double-sided adhesive. This is really good. I think this is good for interactive cards. Liquid glue is also really good, but this just because it's instant, there's no drying time. You just peel off that release paper and this is going to hold things really, really well. So if you have something that you're going to open and close a lot that has a lot of movement, that's really good. And there's tons of different widths for that kind of double-sided tape. Then there is foam adhesive. This is going to give you dimension on your card. So there's foam adhesive rolls. This is a 3mm thick foam adhesive. There's different sizes of this. You can cut that to size and then place it behind some bigger pieces that you want to adhere. Then there is foam strips. These come in different sizes as well, 1mm, 2mm, 3mm. I get mine from scrapbook.com, and I love to have different sizes because I personally love dimension on my cards. Then you can get things like foam squares, foam circles, and these come in different widths, so they can be bigger. These are small ones, and they can be thicker or thinner. And you can just place those behind small little die cuts. Now for stamping tools, there's other stamping tools out here, but acrylic blocks I use mainly for placing. You adhere your stamps to it and then just stick them on because the back is sticky on your stamps. And then you're just going to stamp on your cardstock. I use this for images that don't have to be straight. They do have grid marks on them, so you can use them and make things straight, but I like it just for kind of easy stamping things that I don't have to line up perfectly. Then you have the stamping tool. This is the Misty. Now there's other stamping tools out there. I know there's one from Altenew. I think Tim Holtz still has one. I use the Misty. I have multiples of these. You have the big size and then the mini size. This is fantastic for when you really need to line things up. If you need to stamp more than once because maybe you didn't get a good stamped image, this is going to help you line that up. This is a fantastic tool and absolutely worth having as part of your stamping stash. I would get the big one if you're only going to get one. So you can place in, it comes with some magnets, you can place your paper in. You're going to add your stamp. So I'm using photopolymer stamps. You're going to add those to the lid of the Misty, which has a grid, which helps you line things up to make sure they're straight so you can mess with your stamp and move it around. You would ink it up and then stamp it onto your cardstock. Now there is a foam insert inside, so if you are using red rubber stamps, you would want to remove that foam piece on the inside, and I will show you here in just a second, and then stamp exactly the same as I just showed you here. So photopolymer stamps, you need that little foam insert inside. Sorry that my Misty is such a mess. It's from all the stamping. And then for the red rubber, you're going to take that foam piece out and stamp away. Okay, here are some must-have tools. You definitely need some scissors. I love these kind of scissors that you only have to just squeeze to cut. They are fantastic. Those are from scrapbook.com. And then these scissors are really good. You can use them left or right-handed. And they do not stick to your foam adhesive because they are made from titanium. So when you're cutting foam adhesive, it does not stick. Reverse tweezers, I would say this is an absolute must to have, and there's different shapes. I like the straight ones. This is good for grabbing your die cut pieces or whatever and adding your adhesive to the back and then adhering it down to your paper. You can also use it to just hold on to, if you're gluing something down and you need to hold it in place so it doesn't move, you just clamp it on there and it's great. This little snips here helps cut apart your die cuts. This is like a little wire snip. You could get these from craft stores, anywhere. Then this is called the Pick Pro tool, but this has this little sticky end, and I'll show you. It won't pick up that big piece of cardstock, but it picks up little pieces of cardstock, so your little tiny dies. It picks up sequins and gems, all kinds of things like that that you can just then put them in place. It also has a pokey end to help poke out your die cut pieces. It has a couple other ends too where you can grab gems and things like that. So fantastic tool, definitely something you would need. Low tack tape is a big deal because you would need that for taping down your die cuts to run them through the die cut machine. You can also use it to create straight lines, masking off areas when you're stenciling, things like that. Then these little cloths, this is the Crafty Cleanup Cloth, and then this blue one is the Stamp Cleaning Chamois. It cleans off your stamps. The chamois, you get it a little bit wet, and it just cleans off your stamps when you're done stamping. Now we've got our blender tool. So blender brushes. I think almost every single company has blender brushes. They are fabulous. There's different sizes. They're perfect for stenciling, ink blending backgrounds, ink blending die cuts, anything that you want to do with that. Then you have little ones, and little ones all come in different sizes. There's different shapes. This is perfect for adding detail to your die cuts, adding detail to your stencil images. I love these detail blending brushes. I use them quite often for projects like that. Then you have like foam blending tools like this. This is the Dome Foam, and it has Velcro and some felt, and it just holds it together. This is going to give you a fantastic blending for like backgrounds. You can use it for all the other things that I mentioned, stenciling, die cuts, but this really grabs onto a lot of ink, so you can really get a good inked background. So I'm going to show you the difference here. So this is the Dome Foam blending tool, and you can see I've got a good saturated color, easy to blend. I don't really have to dip it back in to the ink to get a really good dark color. Now let's use a blending brush. You're going to get a softer background with this. So if you don't want it as dark, you can get a really nice soft blend. I do have to go back into the ink a little bit more than I would, which is ultimately not a big deal. It just depends on the look that you're going for, but see the difference between those two. And I'm just doing a quick ink blending, so my ink blending is not perfect. Then you have your little detail pieces here. I'm just going to show you on the edge, but imagine stenciling through or ink blending through a stencil on a pretty flower or leaves. You could have a shadowed area, a darker area, which really works out really nicely. Okay guys, those are my tips for brand new card making. I hope that these basics helped you. I hope that you got something out of this. If you have any questions, please leave it down in the comment and I will definitely be here to answer your questions. Have a great day.